Hello, queens and kings. My name is Thandeka Shabangu. Welcome to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today, we're going to be doing a tutorial. We'll be responding to a request by Andy Siwe. Please, I apologize. It's either Finga or Finka. Yeah, please, I do apologize. So she asked us to do, remember that we had a tutorial where we were doing the headband, the Zulu headband. So she asked us to do the tutorial of the belt part, the belt part pattern. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Today is going to be nice because we won't have part 1, part 2, part 3, yay. We just have this one tutorial and then we're done. So let's get started. Right. All right, let's get started. So I have my needle here. I'm using upholstery thread, but in the original video, we're using our super elastic thread, the headband. Where does it begin? Oh, here it is. Yes, the super elastic band. That's what we were using, but I'm just going to use so you use the super elastic thread when you want your belt to be elastic, like for your headband, so that it adjusts nicely. But for a a waist belt, I don't think there's any need. So now I have my needle and my upholstery thread, and at the end, I'm using a single thread, meaning I'm not going to join the two ends of the thread together. So I made a knot. I made 3 knots, one on top of each other. So I'm going to start with a stopper bead. I'm going to pick up 1 white bead, which I am going to push until the end, and then I'm going to insert my needle in the opposite direction, and then I pull, making a loop around this 1 bead. So the stopper bead's work is to stop the rest of the belt from leaking. So now I'm going to pick up 8 beads for our foundation. I'm going to pick up 8 beads. Here are my 8 beads. So I'm also going to take them and push them to the end. So now I have to start building. So I'm going to turn or start a new line. This is the same thing, but I'm describing it in different ways that you can easily understand. You can say you're turning or you're starting a new line. So every time when you turn, when doing this stitch, you're going to pick up 4 beads. Here are my 4 white beads. And then I start counting 4 beads from the 8 beads from the foundation. I'm going to start at the end, the last bead that we added from the 8 beads. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And on the 4th bead, that is where I'm going to insert my needle, only on that bead. And then I pull. Sorry, the corner of the desk keeps holding on to the thread. Okay, let me pull. Okay, I sorted out this desk. See the desk. So now I'm going to pick up 3 white beads. Remember, we pick up 4 beads every time when we're turning or starting a new line. But now, because we have finished that, we're going to pick up 3 beads. Again, we're going to count 4 beads. Going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th bead is the one right next to the stopper bead, and that is where you're going to insert your bead, your needle, and then you pull like this. So now you're going to start a new line, or you are turning. So the law is that every time when you do that, you do it with 4 beads. So now I'm going to pick up 4 beads, but because we're doing the pattern, you're going to start introducing your color. So you're going to pick up 4 colored beads of making that will make the line that breaks the white in between. So I take my needle, I insert it into the central bead. How do you find the central bead? If you maybe pull out the 3 beads that you just added, you'll be able to see the central bead. I'm going to have 1, 2, 3. That is your central bead, which is still the same, the central bead. That is where you're going to insert your needle. Needle. There it is. So now, remember, you only pick up 4 beads when you're turning or when you're starting a new line. But now, because we've already turned, or we've already started a new line, we go back to our 3 beads. So previously we picked up 4 colored beads. Now we're going to go back to our white beads because we were just introducing the color. So you pick up 3 white beads. You don't continue with the blue. You go back to the white. You take your needle, insert it into your central bead, and then you pull. Dun, da, da, da. So now we're turning. What is the rule? When doing this pattern, every time when you turn, honey, you pick up 4 beads. So you're going to pick up your 4 white beads. I'm just going to flip it like this. I enjoy moving from my right to my left. I always say that. Take your needle, insert it into your central bead, and then you pull. You just pull the bottom and the tail towards the direction that you're moving, just to make sure that what you're doing is nice and strong. It has that, when you pick it up, it's not too weak and watery. So now you're going to go back to your color. Now you're going to pick up 3 blue beads. Remember, the pattern that we are going for is the color, is the slanted pattern. So take your needle, you insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. Okay, so now you're going to turn. How do you know? Oh, let me not talk about that yet because I feel like it will confuse. So now we're going to turn. Every time when we turn, we're going to pick up 4 beads. So we're going to pick up 4 blue beads. Hey, we are flowing. As is a flowish dance. We are flowing. I like it. I like it. I like the flow. So the pattern that we're going for is the slanted pattern. So if you hold your belt like this, you can see, should we add white or should we add blue? Yes, you should add blue. It's like Dora the Explorer. Do you see the map? And like Dora, here's the map. Dora, here's the map, and Dora just looks at you and blinks. You take your needle and you insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. So now you're going to turn. Every time when you turn, you're going to pick up 4 beads. So your first bead is going to be the color of the white, and then the remaining 3 beads are going to be the color of the slanted line that you're going for. So you take your needle, you insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. See? So you have to make sure that the slanted line is nice and straight. And then you pick up 3 blue beads again. Then take your needle, insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. So this is what I wanted to say previously, but I bit my tongue because I felt like if I talked about it that time, it would be confusing. Okay, let me hold it like this. So this is our pattern. Eh? So remember that in the pattern breaks. It's a thick slanted white line, and then it's a thin colored line. So how do you know when it's time to change back to white or change into a different color? You look at your turns. That means here you're going to have 4 beads, meaning that you turned 2 times with your color. That's how you know that, okay, so I have turned with my color 2 times. I used 2 turns. This is the first turn, and that was the second turn. So that means you can change color. You can go back to your white, or you can just count the number of the beads that are on the outside line. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 beads. That means you can now start changing and going back into your white. So here's my white. I pick up 4 white beads. 4 white beads. You take your needle, you insert it into the central bead. So remember, every time you should go back and look if the slanted pattern is being followed correctly. So you go back to your blue, you pick up 3 blue beads. The reason why I say color beads is because you will be the one that decides on the color you like. If you want to add yellow, you can add yellow. If you want to add orange, orange, you can add orange. I'm just cussed with orange when it comes to these beads. So you're going to pick up 4 blue beads. You take your needle, you insert it into the central bead like this, and then you pull. Remember, always make sure that the slanted pattern is being followed. So when you look at the slanted pattern, you decide that, oh, okay, based on how things are going, I should add my 3 white beads or 3 color beads. So in this case, we add 3 white beads. Take your needle, insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. Now I'm going to pick up my 4 white beads. 4 white beads. Take a needle, insert it into the central bead, and then you pull. Then you pick up 3 white beads. Take your needle, insert it into the central. Why is it so dark? Yay. There we go. There's light. And then you pull. So remember here we had 4 beads on the outline. That means we also have to make sure that we have 4 colored beads, 4 blue beads. On this side, it has to be the same too. So that means your first bead from the 4 beads that you're going to pick up. There's so many 4 beads, 4 beads, 4 beads. Remember you're turning. Every time when you turn, you pick up 4 beads. So the first bead from this 4 beads is going to be your blue bead, your color bead. And then the remaining 3 beads are going to be your white beads. Let's just insert our needle, and then we'll talk about the 4 beads. And then we'll talk about the 4 beads when we see them, the second 4 beads. So on this side, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 blue beads on the outline of your pattern. And on this side, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 beads on the outline of your pattern. So you have to make sure that if it's 4 beads here, there should be 4 beads here on the opposite sides. On the opposite sides or opposite ends. So I'm not good with directions. Yo, someone will be like, hey, a back opposite. They are selling cakes, amascones, amascones and tea. You take your 3 white beads, insert them into the central bead. So now, remember the white slanted line has to be much thicker than your color slanted line. So you also can't change color at the 4 because that means this line will be equal to this line. So you have to continue with your white. So you're going to pick up 4 white beads. For turning. You know what I love about us township people is the names that we would give things, whether it's places, whether it's people. You're always going to rename a place. Like where I stay, it's called Flagfontein. And then we changed the new, like Seflagas. And to pick up 3 white beads. Seflagas. And if your name is Debuho, we're going to call you Debza. Or we're going to call you Mrembula. Who decides on those names? So you're going to pick up 4 white beads. Because now you're turning. Who decides on those names? Like my dad, his name is Jabu. They call him Jeppa. Jepperizer. You know, when we name things, it always has that nice ring to it. Jeppa. Insert your needle into the central bead. So when you look at the white slanted line, it's now thicker compared to the color one. So that means, so let's count. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. whereby here we had 4. So now that means you can start changing and introducing your color again. So now I'm going to add my yellow. Have you seen the 3 colors? How the 3 colors are your white, blue, like your series blue, like this blue, and orange. Have you seen that combo? Oh, hi, it's the one. It's the one. If I get married, I'm definitely, my Zulu tradition will be in those 3 colors. Definitely, listen, it's in those 3 colors. I am not changing. I've loved those colors since forever. And I was like, I've seen these colors and I was like, these colors could work. I like the brightness of those colors. Blue, white, and orange. Then you have 4 white beads. You take your needle, you insert it into your central bead. So this is how you're going to go about throughout. Go back to your yellow. You pick up your 3 color beads. Insert it into the central bead like this. So remember, you have to have 4 color beads here at the outline. So how do you go about? You're going to turn once more for the last time. 4 color beads, 4 yellow beads. You take them and you set them into the central bead. Or let me do one more yellow. So this is where we're going to stop with the tutorial. Then you have 3 yellow beads. So this is how the pattern is. Okay, so remember, when you get to this point, when you turn, you're going to pick up 1 white and 3 yellow. So the number of beads on the outline are the ones that are going to help you determine whether it's time to change or whether it's time to have a different new color. Thank you so much for watching, Queens and Kings. I love you guys so much. Remember to love yourself. Remember to honor yourself. Remember to respect yourself and have fun. If you love the content that you're seeing, please consider subscribing. See you on the next video. Bye.